Playing shooters has always been a staple in games, with game franchises like Halo, Call of Duty, and Battlefield laying the foundation of what would later be a multi-billion-dollar industry, but I can't help but feel the genre is at one of its lowest points ever. But why? Well, for me, it all boils down to three main things, the first one being originality. Being original in such a heavily contested genre is pretty much essential, but now it is the complete opposite. Publishers have been relying on safe bets and nostalgia to keep fans interested. Just look at Call of Duty as an example. The Modern Warfare games have all been rebooted, and just every other game that they've put out since Modern Warfare 2019 has felt and looked the exact same for the most part. The formula of a new Call of Duty every single year has definitely taken a toll on the franchise. With so little time to actually make something new, the games have all had pretty similar guns, gunplay. The maps that aren't just remade and updated old version of the maps are now just boring and pretty much bad. Other things like battle royales, while at one point were unique, they are now just an essential for some of these companies. With the massive success of Fortnite, the subgenre exploded in popularity and, more importantly for them, revenue. Call of Duty has Warzone, EA has Apex Legends, which is their Titanfall spin-off. Battlefield 6, which is also made by EA, will apparently have a free-to-play battle royale for the full release, and of course there is a rumored Ubisoft battle royale in the making. And like I said earlier, nostalgia is honestly what keeps some of these games alive. Overwatch and Rainbow had to relaunch themselves in a desperate attempt to bring back hype and attention. Fortnite OG, which is basically just the original game from 2017, did succeed in bringing people back. It had its all-time peak player count when it came out, and not really related, but Concord, if you don't know, is Sony's most recent attempt in the hero shooter genre. It was a very big budget game that shut down in less than a year, and Ubisoft's newest shooter, X Defiant, that was also another big budget shooter that also shut down in less than a year. And with these being some of the biggest companies ever, you know, Epic Games, EA, Activision, Blizzard, Sony, Ubisoft, it is almost impressive that they consistently either make their existing game more boring or make a just whole entire new snooze fest. But now I want to move on to my next point, and that is microtransactions. Fortnite is a free game. That pretty much means all of its money is made by microtransactions, whether it's through the item shop, which is an absolute mess by the way if you haven't played that game in a long time, and its battle pass that is released every new season. And clearly for them it has worked, and all the other companies followed suit quickly after. Overwatch, for example, was not free. It was $40 for the PC version and $60 for the console version, which is what I and others paid for it when it first released. But then the game started dying and they needed some way to get people back, and they decided to make Overwatch 2, which is literally just Overwatch 1 with two main things changed. One of which they made the game free, and the second thing was they removed all loot boxes, which you could either pay to get them or you earned them from leveling up, which is a way you could get free skins. So now the only way to unlock stuff is either by buying the battle pass or buying stuff in their item shop. And I'm not saying microtransactions are new by any means, but at least at one point I feel like they meant something. A lot of microtransactions were DLCs, which does just stand for downloadable content, which is technically the same thing as all the item shop stuff. It is just digital downloadable content. But for example, Black Ops 3, that game's DLCs added new multiplayer and my favorite zombies maps for $30, which is not cheap. Other than the DLC stuff, you could literally earn everything else for free, including the DLC weapons if you played the game enough. Like, let's take for example the Nicki Minaj bundle in Warzone or Call of Duty is only $10 cheaper than the Zombies Chronicles bundle, which is regarded to be one of the best zombies bundles ever, for $30. That is insane. If you disagree with me and you think the new model for extra content is better, you know, you can have your opinion. I want you to think about it for a second. Why would almost every single major company switch to adding DLC content this way? It's because obviously they make a lot more money from doing it like this than they ever did the old way. But now I want to move on to my last thing, and that is you and me, the players. I'm not talking about the casual player, toxic players, even cheaters. The worst of them all are the people who rush to find the meta. I'm going to use the finals as an example, because when this game first came out, I loved the game. It was so much fun. I made 2 videos on it, but then in literally 2 days, that's when the meta sweats came in, who were all using the exact same character, the small character, the same gun, and the same ability. The same thing happened with Warzone and just regular Call of Duty as a whole. Ever since they added more customizability to guns, people, I feel like, used the same attachments for whichever gun. I miss when it was literally just a simple extended mag, long barrel, fast mags, whatever. It's not that the new stuff is complicated. Like if you know how to read, you can figure it out. But the second anybody gets destroyed in like free for all, team deathmatch or whatever, they're looking up best class setup in Modern Warfare 45 on YouTube. That's literally what they're looking at. I remember playing the Black Ops 6 beta, and I can't lie, I was having fun. I was enjoying the game for the first 2 days, and that's it. Everybody was low level. They had the base class setups and weren't worried about KD. But then 2 days later, people started camping. They see you. The first thing they do is do a split on the floor and drop shot you. The same thing happened with the Battlefield 6 beta. It was fun. Definitely not like the masterpiece people are praising it to be, but it's really not hard to not have fun in a game like this until people who ruin everything come in. And I don't know if I was just getting unlucky, but some of my lobbies had to be filled with just ex-COD players camping nowhere near objective. They were using the stupid shotgun that literally would one-shot you from across the freaking map. That freaking gun is better than the sniper. And every lobby had at least one squad like who were completely like that. Literally, I had people just laying on the floor for literally no reason. Literally, they weren't capping objective. They weren't doing anything. They were just like randomly just laying on the floor. And this whole entire segment could definitely be a skill issue. I already know somebody's writing a comment right now, but yes, you're right. It is a skill issue. I don't want to have to play a game all day, every day, looking for best class loadouts, what heroes or operators are the best at this season to play a game casually. Some people have school or just want to play anything else, and the genre isn't dead by any means either. People will still somehow just buy into these games expecting them to get better. If we don't change the fact that these games are no longer unique, the fact that they're just filled with microtransactions and the players just don't, get a life and go outside, I don't really see this changing at all. But that is all for today. I do hope you all enjoyed, and peace.